r/AskReddit. What's a huge red flag when meeting new people? A guy at work always tells new people how much he hates being married. Apparently loves his wife but hates being married. Then goes on to say she doesn't let him drink because he becomes a nightmare to be with. Pretty sure he drank in excess on a regular basis, and that she will divorce him if she catches him. The dude still drinks and drives home to his wife. He keeps a toothbrush and toothpaste in a bag that he hides in a bush near his house so that she can't smell alcohol on his breath. Found out all of this after speaking with him for 5 minutes. Apparently it's the same story with everyone. If they make plans with you and they cancel later because they got a better offer. I dumped a friend of 10 years for constantly pulling shit like this. It really shitty to always feel like you aren't good enough. She ended up getting mad at me for not bringing it up sooner. All the more reason to cut ties. Edit. For all those who seem to need a relationship timeline. We were friends for 10 years but I was not being treated like shit stewing over things for the whole decade. We were good friends for 6-ish years. She started ditching a few times. Then we both moved to different states for 2 years. And the last 2 years of our friendship got progressively worse while my mental health tanked and led me to believe that I deserved to be treated that way. So please do not act as if I'm some petulant little child and she's a poor innocent girl who just had a busy schedule and trouble communicating. She was mostly unemployed, not going to school, and literally admitted to me 2 weeks before I ended our friendship that she makes plans with multiple people on the same day and then picks whoever can give her drugs or drive her to a show or whatever else. I don't miss this person and I don't feel bad that this isn't something I brought up sooner. The friendship was going to end regardless and I didn't want to spend time working it out. I just wanted to be done with it. They immediately talk shit about a stranger. I went to a meetup recently and got some drinks with the people after. One guy gave me a bad vibe. He seemed like he had a really low tolerance for other people messing up and being a little awkward. He was like, yeah, I was a little bit nervous about going to the meetup but then I realized that there are some really ducking weird people and there's no reason to be nervous, just sat wrong with me because I'm kind of awkward and just want to meet new people. The last straw was when we were playing pool at the bar and this one girl had something wrong with her voice and couldn't talk very loud, so he actually asked her if that's how her voice always was or there's something wrong with it. What a douchebag. He invited me to watch football with him the next day, lol. I didn't respond. They always forget their wallet. I forget my wallet a lot but never a debt. I'm just extraordinarily bad at remembering to put stuff in a place where I can find it. Venmo is also a godsend. More specific to dating, but if someone always plays the victim in their other relationships, for example, calling all their exes crazy. If they describe 1-2 people, okay, maybe they had bad taste or got unlucky. If everyone they dated was crazy, then they should probably look in the mirror. On a related note, I always watch out for people who introduce others badly. If the first thing you say about people is OMG this person looks funny or they're a beach, I'm going to wonder how they'll think and talk about me to others. Ooh, this. I've had some poor taste in partners in the past, like severely abusive, and they were exactly like this. All their exes were crazy, insane, horrible beaches, nothing good to say about any of them. Finally learned the hard way they were exactly that. When small talk becomes that person following you around. I had a more recent experience with this, but ignored the warnings mostly because of excessive guilt tripping. There's absolutely nothing wrong about talking about a rough home life, but when you bring it up every 5 minutes, it feels like you're fishing for compliments, begging for attention. They pry you away from others. I ran into my GF at a cross-country meet and couldn't maintain a conversation for more than 5 minutes without this person finding a way to get me to leave her. I don't care what you have to do. Stay away from these people. Knew a guy with a tattoo that read "duck you, pay me." That's a little off-putting. Work with a guy that has "stay down" tattooed across his knuckles. Just awful people. Hey, my friend has duck this on his knuckles and he's a great guy. He's currently in jail. My full name has 7 letters in it, so I could definitely get my full name and an exclamation point tattooed across my knuckles. On one hand, Abra. On the other hand, Ham. That's not my actual name, but the illustration stands. I don't know if it's a red flag, but I opened a new friend's fridge and there were 5 mostly empty jumbo-sized jars of mayo, like 12 2 liters of generic soda, and a load of damn hot dogs just kinda sitting on a plate like they were waiting for something. Ominously, I took a peek in his freezer and there were about 50 banquet pot pies, stacked all the way to the door. They were all sausage and gravy. I bought one the next time I was shopping and I've got to say, they're not terrible. Anyway, I'll update you guys if I get slathered in mayo and murdered. It's a red flag when you invite someone new over to your house for the first time and they are already snooping around in your freezer. True, but my excuse is that I brought over liquor, OJ, and eggnog for some reason that made sense at the time. Then I looked to see if he had ice. If they harshly criticize you for making a mistake, it's fine to be annoyed with someone for making a mistake, but it's not okay to bully them over it. I was called a retard once as a teenager by a so-called friend because I bought her the wrong item for her birthday present. I remember feeling like the most stupidest person on the planet. Edit. Okay guys, I'm aware I've made a grammar boo-boo. I had a friend who would remind me or bring up my mistakes or try to embarrass me in front of other people constantly. I'm still not sure what she was trying to do. It only made her look like an a-hole. Woman shrugging. If they start talking about their MLM, multi-level marketing, scheme, they see you as a prospect, not a friend. It's not a pyramid scheme. It's an inverted funnel. I'm not selling something. I'm offering you an opportunity to better yourself. When they engage more about themselves than contribute to the conversation. I've met a few people who would talk all the problems they've had and would hardly ask any questions back. I've always felt so uncomfortable in these scenarios and usually don't pursue in a relationship with these types of people. Edit. Some people made very good points about individuals with ADHD. I should be more clear on my point by saying that some people are also very dismissive and sometimes refuse to hear what you have to say by cutting you off. I don't expect an interview from the other person, but it would be nice to have mutual interest in each other. Yet they interrupt you to turn the conversation back to focus on themselves every time you speak. Always look out for the two sheds. Those people who can't go for 5 minutes without one-upping someone else, not gentlemanly empathizing and sharing their experiences, but taking the whole "that's nothing, listen to my story" route. Two sheds? Common nickname for one-uppers. You have one shed, they have two. If they quickly become enamored or shower you with too much praise before getting to know you, especially if they put on a much too intense display of love and affection. I don't mean flirting. I mean declaring their love or emotional affection, or being overly generous. This can be a red flag warning of someone who is abusive, either as a relationship or even as a friend. Abusive people at first, and usually for the first few months or even a year, can be extremely charming and pour affection onto you, but the facade will start to slip. It'll be subtle at first, but then their effort to make you happy will gradually slip away to nothing and you'll be treated quite poorly by them. They may still on rarer occasions be nice again, but this is to stop you from leaving them and they'll be right back to their bad behavior. The effort at first is to obtain you. Then they turn more self-centered and reveal they care little for your needs once they have you, so to speak. This isn't always the case, but it is something to keep a close eye on and not allow them to manipulate you if their care turns out to be a facade. And always remember the golden rule. Live with someone for 6 months before getting engaged to marry them. Edit. Thank you for the medals and for all the karma. I'm heartbroken to see how many of you have experienced this kind of emotional abuse. And I too learned the hard way. I hope others can learn from this and avoid the pain we experienced. Sending everyone who connects with this message some invisible hugs and platonic love. You never deserve to be treated that way. You are worthy of genuine love and care. You barely know them but suddenly you are their best friend. Everyone else is just awful. You are so special and awesome, especially at listening to their many problems. Because you are so empathetic and smart and insightful. Don't run. Sprint. Yup, I hate that. To add to this, they expect you to start spending all of your free time with them and get mad at you if you don't. It's like they want to make themselves an important part of your life, but the relationship isn't strong enough to warrant that level of interaction. People who talk about all the people they know and how many friends they have. Met a lady recently who was nice but just kept talking about how she has so many friends and is always meeting her friends and is so busy with how many people she knows. Like, look lady, I get it, but where are your friends now? I met a guy in the US earlier this year and, after hello, he literally said, I'm a venture capitalist and I just made $10 million from a company that Google bought out. He then started banging on about Google basically giving them money to go away. To be honest, I sympathized with Google. Caveat, it might have been Facebook or Microsoft. I stopped listening pretty quickly. He was probably lying. None of that sounds true at all. They are proud, calling themselves jerks, two-faced and other very questionable qualities. I'm brutally honest. Doesn't listen, always talking about himself. Huh, anyway, so as I was saying, I usually do 10 reps of chin-ups followed by feeling worse after meeting them than you did before. Sometimes the person just seems off, but you can't put a finger on what exactly. Over time, you realize that your gut instinct was correct. Care to give an example? Sounds like it happened to you. I've had it happen a few times when starting a new job. Your manager takes you around the workplace and introduces you to everyone. Even though everyone will shake your hand and say great to meet you, there is usually a person or two that you just get a negative vibe from. Over time, you discover that person is difficult to work with. Not always the case, but it seems to apply the vast majority of the time. I once met a girl who told me she'd stabbed her ex-partner and didn't believe in human rights, all within about 5 minutes. So would you share some red flags you noticed in her? Inconsistency. Maybe they are super charming towards the senior staff but rude to juniors. Maybe they are really charming and helpful to you but rude to serving staff. Maybe they say they like all the same things that you do but when you probe them on a topic all you get is superficial answers. There are lots of ways someone can show inconsistency, but it usually means that they want you, or someone, to think they are a certain kind of person when it's not who they really are. Have you ever wanted to be your own boss? Do you want to earn some extra income? Reminds me of a conversation I had on a bus recently. Are you interested in being your own boss and running your own business? Oh gosh, no. The look of confusion on his face was priceless. I don't like being in charge. Too much pressure that I'll mess it up for other people. If you meet them and they're ranting and raving about their beach of a girlfriend, their backstabbing friends, and how the whole world is doing them dirty, sure, they might be having a bad day and are venting, but in my experience, people who openly and eagerly vent that stuff to strangers in public are usually much more at fault than they care to let on and cause a lot of drama. Had a cab driver yesterday afternoon who kept commenting on every schoolgirl with a short skirt. So, that I guess. When a guy has absolutely nothing to say other than overly romantic sexual stuff, or your possible future together, right after meeting it's creepy and you don't even get to know each other better cause there's no conversation happening. My ex told me early on in the relationship that she had an incest fantasy. That should have been the first red flag, but I didn't take it seriously at first and thought she was joking until I caught her cheating on me with her blood-related cousin. Gets angry over the smallest thing. The cashier shorted you $1 when giving change. Mistakes happen. Doesn't mean she was trying to scam you. They don't just undercook a burger, Jerry. The why are you so quiet? People, like, I just met you Linda. Ugh, I hate that question, especially when it's asked by someone I'm not very interested in talking to, which is usually when I'm quiet. Leaving their rubbish on restaurant tables or cinemas floors, being mean to their friends, being on their phone the whole time or constantly pushing their opinions onto you. They volley their work jargon to you as a power move. When everything is about them. Why would you post this about me? They keep interrupting or continue to use a shortened version of my name after specifically telling them not to. Best comment of the day. The main reasons people stay single are: don't have to deal with stupid in-laws, or impressing them either. Don't have to worry about child support / having children / wasting money. Can date other / open to dating / options are open. Can party or do whatever you want without having to worry about a family you made. Can focus on themselves instead of their lover or kids. Don't have to worry about getting STDs. No one likes or wants to have overpopulation in the world. It's a cause. Join it, or more of God / fate's wrath will happen. The coronavirus. Also, no one likes thoughts.